Welcome to the arcade! Alright, legends, let's talk about a magical place. A place filled with flashing lights, epic sounds, and the smell of pure, unadulterated fun. I'm talking about the arcade! Before we all had super powerful consoles and PCs in our homes, this was the ultimate gaming sanctuary. It was a place where you and your friends could gather to test your skills, chase high scores, and just have an absolute blast. You might think of them as something from the past, like dinosaurs or something, but I'm here to tell you that arcades are still one of the coolest experiences a gamer can have. It's a totally different world from playing at home. So what exactly an arcade? Think of it like a giant hall of fame for video games, but you can actually play them. These places are packed with big, beautiful machines called arcade cabinets. Each cabinet is dedicated to just one game, with its own special screen, joysticks, buttons, and sometimes even steering wheels or light guns. You pop in a coin or swipe a card and bam! You're instantly transported into another universe. It's a very physical, very loud, and very exciting way to play. The energy in an arcade is just electric. It gets your heart pumping before you even press the start button. The feeling you get when you walk into a good arcade is just, yes! The noise hits you first. It's a symphony of beeps, boops, explosions, and music all mashed together into one glorious sound. Your eyes dart from one screen to the next, seeing all the vibrant colors and crazy action. It's a sensory overload in the best possible way. You're not just playing a game, you're part of a community of people all there for the same reason, to have an amazing time. It's a shared experience, and that's what makes it so special. It's a pilgrimage every gamer should make at least once. And let me tell you, the variety is insane. You've got everything from classic pixelated adventures to modern, high-definition racing simulators that make you feel like you're actually behind the wheel. There are fighting games where you can go head-to-head with your buddy, rhythm games that test your timing, and ticket redemption games where you can win silly prizes. It's a massive buffet of interactive entertainment, and you get to sample everything. So grab your coins, get ready to button mash, and let's dive into the wonderful world of the arcade. It's going to be awesome. So, where did these temples of gaming come from? Well, let's hop in our time machine and go way, way back. The story of arcades starts long before video games even existed. Think of old-timey fairgrounds and amusement parks from the early 1900s. They had coin-operated machines, but they were mechanical things like fortune tellers or strength testers. People loved the idea of paying a small amount of money for a quick bit of fun. These places were called penny arcades, and they laid the groundwork for what was to come. They proved that people were willing to pay for entertainment on the spot. Then, in the 1970s, something revolutionary happened. Video games were born. The first commercially successful arcade video game was released in 1972. It was so simple, just two paddles and a ball. But people went absolutely crazy for it. Suddenly you could control things on a screen. It was like magic. Bars and bowling alleys started putting machines in, and they made a ridiculous amount of money. This success showed everyone that there was a huge appetite for this new kind of electronic entertainment. The video game arcade was officially born, and it was about to explode in popularity. The late 1970s and early 1980s became what we now call the golden age of arcades. This was the peak. Developers started getting really creative, and a flood of iconic games hit the scene. We're talking about masterpieces like in 1978, which caused a coin shortage in Japan because it was so popular. Then came in 1980, a game so famous that literally everyone knew his name. Arcades became the coolest places for kids and teenagers to hang out. They were social hubs, competitive arenas, and the frontier of a brand new art form. It was a cultural phenomenon, but why were they so popular back then? Well, for one, it was the only place you could play these incredible games. Home consoles at the time, like the Atari 2600, were cool, but they couldn't compare to the power, graphics, and sound of the arcade cabinets. The arcade versions were always bigger, better, and more intense. Going to the arcade was an event. It was a chance to see the latest and greatest in gaming technology, challenge your friends for the top score, and be part of something new and exciting. It was the heart of gaming culture for a whole generation. Alright, let's get to the good stuff, the games. If you walk into an arcade, especially a classic one, you're going to see some legendary titles. These are the games that define genres and are still ridiculously fun to play today. First up, you have to talk about this little yellow circle munching on dots is pure genius. The gameplay is so simple to understand but so hard to master. You're just trying to eat all the pellets while avoiding those pesky ghosts. Blinky, Pinky, Inky, and Clyde. When you grab a power pellet and can suddenly chase them, pure power. It's a perfect game. Next on the must-play list is, this was the game that introduced the world to not one, but two video game superstars. Donkey Kong himself and a little hero we used to call Jumpman, who you might know better today as Mario. Your goal is to climb a series of girders, jumping over barrels thrown by a giant ape to save the princess. It's one of the very first platformer games and it set the stage for thousands of others. The cabinet art is iconic and the challenge is real. Beating that final screen is a true badge of honor for any gamer. Of course, we can't forget the shoot-'em-ups is the granddaddy of them all. You control a little laser cannon at the bottom of the screen, moving left and right to shoot waves of aliens as they slowly march down towards you. The sound design is brilliant. The music gets faster and more intense as the enemies get closer, making your heart pound in your chest. Another classic is, where the enemies fly in cool patterns and can even capture your ship. Trying to rescue your captured ship to get double firepower is one of the coolest mechanics in arcade history. And then there are the fighting games. This genre practically lived in the arcade. We're talking about the legendary. This game was a phenomenon. It had a diverse roster of characters, each with their own unique special moves. Kids would crowd around the cabinet yelling Hadouken and watching epic battles unfold. It created the formula for modern fighting games. And you also have, which was famous for its digitized graphics and of course, its over-the-top fatalities. These games were all about direct, head-to-head competition, and the arcade was the perfect arena for it. So, what is it that makes the arcade experience so special? Why do people still love going when we have incredible games we can play from our couches? It's all about the atmosphere, the vibe. An arcade is a physical space dedicated entirely to the joy of playing. When you're there, you're surrounded by people who share your passion. You can hear shouts of victory from one corner and groans of defeat from another. You can watch a pro player absolutely destroy a high score on a game you're terrible at, and you learn just by watching. It's a community. There's also something incredibly satisfying about the physical nature of arcade machines. These aren't just flimsy controllers, they are big, sturdy cabinets. You can feel the click of the joystick, the solid clack of the buttons as you mash them, and the rumble of the cabinet during an explosion. When you're playing a racing game like Daytona USA, you're sitting in a driver's seat holding a real steering wheel and slamming your foot on a pedal. It's an immersive experience that a standard controller just can't replicate. You feel more connected to the game because you're physically interacting with this massive, dedicated machine. Another huge part of the arcade magic is the pursuit of the high score. On most arcade games, at the end of your game you get to enter your initials if you made it onto the leaderboard. That three-letter tag was your claim to fame. It was proof that for a moment you were the best player in that arcade. People would come back day after day spending all their quarters to try and knock the top player off their throne. It was a public, local form of competition that was both friendly and fierce. Seeing your initials, JSE, at the top of that list was the ultimate prize. Finally, the arcade is a place of discovery. Unlike your curated game library at home, an arcade is full of surprises. You might wander past a game you've never even heard of, with crazy cabinet art and intriguing sounds. So you drop a coin in just to see what it's about, and you might discover your new favorite game. It encourages you to try new things and step outside of your comfort zone. It's like a treasure hunt where every machine is a potential chest full of fun. That sense of wonder and the shared excitement with everyone around you is the real unbeatable magic of the arcade. So are arcades just a thing of the past? Absolutely not. They've just evolved like a Pokemon leveling up. While the classic dark quarter-munching arcades of the 80s are rarer, a new breed of arcade has emerged, and honestly, they are awesome. Many modern arcades are barcades which combine craft beer and food with classic and new arcade games. This creates a really cool social atmosphere for adults. You can have a nice meal, hang out with friends, and then go challenge them to a game of NBA Jam or Time Crisis. It's honestly the perfect night out. Then you have the massive, family-focused entertainment centers. Places like Dave & Buster's or Round One are like arcades on steroids. They still have video games, but they also have huge rhythm game sections imported directly from Japan, elaborate virtual reality setups, and tons of prize games where you can win everything from a giant stuffed animal to a new console. These places use rechargeable play cards instead of coins, which makes it super easy to hop from game to game. They've turned the arcade into a full-day destination for people of all ages. keeping the spirit alive for a new generation. For all you beginners out there wanting to check one out, here are a few tips. First, do a little recon. Look up arcades in your area and see what they offer. Some specialize in retro classics, while others are all about the newest, flashiest games. Second, don't be afraid to try everything. Use your first visit to wander around and play a little bit of anything that looks cool. You never know what you'll fall in love with, and most importantly, bring friends. Arcades are a social experience, and everything is more fun when you can share the victories and laugh at the losses together. In the end, arcades are still one of the most exciting places a gamer can visit. They are living museums of gaming history and hubs of community and fun. Whether you're a seasoned veteran who grew up with Pac-Man or a brand new player who has never touched a joystick before, there is something for you at the arcade. It's a chance to disconnect from the online world and connect with people in person, all while playing some of the best games ever made. So go find one, get your game on, and keep that incredible arcade spirit alive. High fives all around.